I would do a podcast with you every Friday if you wanted. Like, I just love hanging out with you. So, like,
I love hanging out with you too. I mean, I wish I could come to Austin. I trust me, I want to. I mean, to hang out with you, number one, but also that's the comedy capital of the world right now.
it is.
Any comedian who is serious about comedy
I
goes
can,
to Austin, Texas.
I understand the logistics of you getting out here would be a nightmare. If you ever do, through my other buddy, also named Josh, I not sure if things changed because now I believe Rogan opened up his own place. But before he did, that guy Josh got me free tickets to the Rogan show. And he was like, if you ever have any special person in town, ask me and I'll get you guys tickets.
That would be
Maybe
awesome.
maybe it changed now that he opened up his own spot. But look, if you came in town, even if I had to, I would buy the freaking tickets just so you could go.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet. Um, yeah, that would be fun if we all go together and just that would be awesome. Have you ever heard of Kill Tony?
No, I'm not really big in the comedy world or
Okay.
um I'm not big in a lot of things right now just because all I do is work and have no life. Like my friends are back home, like, did you watch the Dodger game? Or I'm just like, no, did you watch the Super Bowl? Like, I don't even know who's in it. Do you this,
Yeah.
that? Right now, I'm just like lost in the world of free and negatively priced commodities, and that's all that I do and live. In
Yeah,
this
you're
world,
focused.
like in this world, I am like the Luke Skywalker, and in all these other things, like I am garbage.
That's really good though. The only reason I know about this stuff is because while I'm editing, I'll put on a podcast, and that happens to also be my profession. Besides doing my podcast and stuff, I'll listen to comedy stuff, and so I keep up with it. But yeah, Kill Tony is Tony Hinchcliffe hosts this podcast thing where it's an open mic essentially. It's at Rogan's Club currently, the Comedy Mothership, and you go up and you do a minute of stand up, and then there's three professional comedians there or more sometimes, and sometimes Rogan's on the panel, and they'll talk to you, give you advice, or roast you if you did terrible and bomb. And I would be really cool if I can get it up and do a minute of stand up there.
Yeah, no,
But I don't
totally.
even know if it's handicapped accessible. That's the thing. Because I saw on Instagram there's this long staircase to get on stage, and it says it's a long way to the top if you want to walk and not walk. Walk and roll is my podcast. Rock and roll.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. I couldn't tell you that that one Rogan show was the first and only time so far I've been to a comedy show.
really,
Um,
ever?
ever. I've never really watched him on TV. Like, it never really interested me. I did like Dave Chappelle's show back when, so like I guess that would be a
Okay.
difference. But I didn't know how I felt about it because I saw like obviously Rogan came last, and there was five plus people that showed before him. I do remember always like I know a lot of comedy is based on like making fun of yourself,
Mhm.
making fun of others. Either they're in the crowd in front of you or other people. I didn't know how to feel when a lot of it was making fun of people of heavily marginalized groups. Um, After it, I actually went out and like in my own circles, like spoke to some of the people in those marginalized groups to ask how they felt about it. They really weren't very happy, at least
Really?
their perspective. But I mean, that was their perspective. They said, no, I really don't like how, I'm the center of their jokes. Now, on the flip side, I do
Hmm.
see like the comedian's perspective, like freedom of speech is freedom for me to break down whatever boundary I want. And from the comedian's take, I've heard them say, like, if you take away my freedom of making fun of whoever the fuck I want, then like we basically, like the Iron Curtain has come down, sort of thing. But I don't know. What's your take on that?
Oh, my take is that it's very, very, very important to make fun of people of every part of the world, every race, gender, sexuality. I think it is absolutely crucial to the fabric of society. And I think that some people are sensitive and get offended, but usually I find those kind of people have something else going on with them, some insecurities that they haven't dealt with that they put onto the comedian when the comedian is usually just joking. I always say the whole purpose of a joke is that, like, what do you say when someone doesn't get you're being sarcastic? You say, I'm joking, as I'm not being serious. The point isn't to offend you, the point is to make you laugh and bring levity to the situation. I have this quote I wrote where I say, I believe God has a dark sense of humor because it brings the darkness to light. And I truly believe that. Like I talk about my disability, as you've heard,
No,
all the time. And
but like, do you think if you weren't born with these disabilities and you were like an Olympian, like four-star gold medal Olympian sort of person, but then became the comedic route, would you still make jokes of people with disabilities? And is it as okay as someone who's got these issues to make fun of themselves and these issues, but in a way that only you can because you personally know it very well?
I think anyone should be able to make jokes about people with disabilities. But I think that I have a very unique perspective they couldn't come up with anyways, because they're not really thinking about it the way I think about it. They can't. I think I own that, and other disabled people. I mean, anyone has their own perspective that they own, and some people like kind of steal jokes or mimic other comedians, and they don't. Just like with businesses that we talk about, they copy your model, and they don't have any really authentic perspective, and they haven't earned it either, and they feel like they deserve everything, and they haven't really gone through the trials that they need to become a well-developed person. Um, I really think comedy is extremely important to. I think Jordan Peterson talks a lot about this. Is you can you can see how tyrannical a society is based on how they treat their jesters, speaking the truth and making fun of people. If someone can't take being made fun of, usually they're a type of a tyrant, or when they got some form of a power, they would be tyrannical because they have insecurities they put on other people and want to control everyone else. And if they don't like it, they can't just brush it off. They're like, I'm offended. I'm going to make this a problem, or shout out, or be a heckler, or later online talk shit online and cancel the comedian. Or, um, I think most people, I don't mean to like diss your friends or anything, but
Look, I want
I
to hear everyone's perspective, and look, like, I think the best thing about this country, or what maybe does not exist anymore and is disappearing, is that people from completely different walks of life, political background, ethnicity, whatever, can still be friends. Versus, like, my wife's from Eastern Europe. If someone's in a different political party, you can't be their friend because if their party gets elected, you lose your job.
watch full episodes of Chairman of the Board on YouTube and Spotify.